Eastern African Farmers Federation (Eaff) is a regional farmers organization whose membership consists of national farmer federations, national community associations, and national cooperative organizations from 10 countries.
The purpose of this organization is actually empowerment of farmers through organization and capacity building. We also represent their interests at different levels, at the East African community level and also at the international level. We also build the capacities of our national farm organization to be able to provide better services to the membership. So for us, we are actually a capacity to our national farm organizations.
Among many of their components, Eaff realized the impact of climate change and poor farming practices among East African farmers and came up with the program Climate Smart Agriculture, aimed at strengthening the capacity of farmer organizations in climate challenges.
Now, as regards climate change, the change at the farmer level is real. We have actually seen seasons shift from what we initially considered normal. We have also seen emergence of new pests and also weeds. And we have also seen a decline in the amount of rain that is actually available in a number of areas. And all these challenges have actually brought a lot of loss to our producers and have actually made it difficult for them to actually continue in their production activity as they formerly used to do.
The project focused on training trainers of trainees in order to generate capacity through practical demonstrations.
I think for us, some of the reasons why we actually had very good results was because one, we used this farmer-to-farmer training, farmer extension. Farmer learns best from another farmer, so it's very easy for them to learn quickly.
With funding from the Norwegian Agency for Development (NORAD), 4 countries, namely the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, were engaged under the following organizations: Kosenki and Lofepako in Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya Livestock Producers Associations and Kenya National Farmers Federation (KENAF) in Kenya, mtandao wa vikundi vya wakulima Tanzania, Uganda National Farmers Federation, Uganda Cooperative Alliance and National Union for Coffee Agribusinesses and Farm Enterprises in Uganda.
We had a 2-year project looking at strengthening the capacity of farmers in Eastern Africa region, to build the capacities around building resilience and food security through increased adoption of climate smart agriculture techniques, trying to make them aware about the existence of these particular practices, but also trying to build a team of expertise at the farmer level to be able to conduct what we call the farmer-to-farmer extension, so that we actually scale this up. And this project was to the tune of $1.5 million.
It is the first interaction between East African Farmers Federation and Norway on climate. And we wanted this pilot to generate interest, not only amongst our farmers, but also amongst the people that are actually supporting us, so that out of it, we can actually be able to expand it and put it to scale.
Adaptation and mitigation were key to farmer survival, and to achieve this, 4 training modules were developed. Module 1 dealt with Introduction to Climate Change, Adaptation and Mitigation. Module 2 dealt with Sustainable Agriculture and Land Management. Module 3 dealt with Efficient Livestock and Fisheries Management. Module 4 dealt with Marketing and Supply Chains. Under the Introduction to Climate Change, Adaptation and Mitigation module, farmers were trained about the simple meaning of climate change to the complex causes of climate change, leading to the scary effects of the same. Adaptation and mitigation were key to the current situations, and several measures were put in place.
If you look at the design of the project, we had two levels. One was training, making sure that we actually generate capacity around the farming community itself. The other aspect was actually having demonstrations where we can actually start now getting our trainers use demonstrations to be able to actually pass our knowledge around climate smart agriculture.
In the Sustainable Agriculture and Land Management module, farmers were trained on good farming skills. Simple questions were asked. What are the soil and water needs for my crop? What crops will I plant and what cropping system will I utilize? How do I protect my crop from diseases, pests and weeds? How do I manage the harvest? It was realized that the answers to what's and how's could be achieved through the following 6 working categories: nutrient management, soil and water management, conservation agriculture, agronomic practices, agroforestry and sustainable energy production.
Those is saying shall learn that the contours are not necessarily straight. It is the F-frame which keeps on showing you that water is escaping like this. And she's telling us that she has even managed to harvest water from a neighbor's place by digging that trench. Now the water from there.
Under efficient livestock and fisheries management, farmers were trained on the basic needs of livestock, which include livestock feeding, livestock housing, health control and management, and livestock breeding. Fish farming was also introduced in several areas as a subsidiary diet and an extra source of income. Under marketing and supply chains, farmers were trained on the importance of value addition, marketing skills, supply chains, and supply management. After the trainings, field visits and exchange programs were undertaken in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania to gauge the trained trainers and their trainees of their effectiveness in implementation of climate-smart agriculture technologies.
We are not here to really police anything, but I came in to see exactly what it is that our technical people are doing with you. For this project, we actually negotiated with Nora. It's very important that we see exactly what is actually happening at this level.
In Kenya, the field visits were done in Maragua, Kandara and Mogosho, some of the areas chosen by Eaff to run the pilot projects, areas whose geographical location lie on the arid and semi-arid zones and the wetlands respectively.
The reason why we chose Murang'a and Kiambu County, it's because in the two counties we have two different ecological zones. We have the places like Thika East or Murang'a South, where it's usually not a highland place, so the rainfall is scarce. And now we have the highlands place like in Katanga, where we even have T-zones, so that's a high potential area. So we wanted to see the difference and see the uptake in both the highland areas and the lowland areas in terms of different climate smart agriculture or sustainable agricultural land management activities which can be undertaken there.
Kandara is located 65 kilometers from Nairobi on the leeward side of the Greener Central region. Here we meet Mr. Patrick, a beneficiary of climate-smart agriculture, whose land was chosen as a demonstration plot by Eaff for climate-smart agriculture practices.
Kusema ukweli, CSA imenisaidia sana. Nimeenda mafunzo, nikasoma, nikakuja, nikafanya venye walinituelezea. Nimepanda miche, kuna miti, hii season nimepanda zaidi ya miti 2000, na sahi kuna miti ambayo ni mature more than 5000. Kwa hivyo naona hiyo ni kazi yote ya CSA. Upande wa horticulture, mimi naona nimefanya kuharvest maji. Hii maji after kuharvest wakati wa kiangazi ndio wanga natumia. Kwa hivyo hapa kwangu always kunakuwa green.
A walk through his farm shows clearly that he has been keen to implement all what he has been trained, especially Module 2, which deals with sustainable agriculture and land management. He was excellent in the soil and water management and nutrients management categories.
Hii maji hata wakati wa kiangazi haishi. Na ndio wanga nalima nayo hapa 7 acres. Hii tu nalima 7 acres. Hata sasa nikikuja na pump hapa, hii maji hapa itabaki vile vile. Sababu mchanga umekunywa maji sasa ni wet kabisa. Chini yote. Sasa tu wakati tunasoma 80% ni maji. Sasa hata sio 80%. Hii ni almost 98. Sababu kila mahali ni maji. Kwa hivyo hii maji haiishi. Inanisaidia sana.
Mr. Muriuki is not alone. Farmers in the areas where the CSA project was implemented were keen on all the participatory measures, being so active in agroforestry to counter the concentration of carbon dioxide and other green gas emissions in the atmosphere.
We work like a team, but this project, from when we started the learning, I had to concentrate on myself, because the aim is to make myself supportive, not to depend on anyone. And I can guarantee you I've moved a lot ahead, because like now me, I have made my own forest of 1 acre.
I would encourage all the people to plant trees. At least the government is telling us to plant 10% of trees in our gardens. But me, in my home, in my shamba, it is 2.5 and 80% I have planted trees.
Technologies like mulching, composting, crop rotation, intercropping, terracing, rainwater harvesting, lime water application, among others, came in handy in the maintenance and improvement of soil fertility and water retention, translating to an increment in productivity.
Kama mimi nilikuwa napanda hii machungwa, ilikuwa saa ingine ninapanda inakauka, ndio vile tulielezwa vile tutafanya mbolea. Nikaenda nikachimba chimu ya mbolea, nikakuja nikaweka hii ya ng'ombe. Hata nikikuwa nabakisha ya ng'ombe tu nikakuja ninaweka. Hiyo ninatoa hiyo mbolea naenda huko kwa ng'ombe, nachukua ile ingine nachanganya pamoja yote na mwaga huko kwa machungwa. Hata wakati wengine nilikuwa nafuna gunia 20 ya machungwa. Nilikuwa nanunuliwa 2,600 na niliona hiyo pesa kama nilipatiwa bure.
From when they started telling us we want to be self-reliant, in fact, now I harvest even about 50 bags of maize from 2 acres. Okay. And the oranges, I make quite a sum of money and do.
CSA has really helped us with the knowledge, because what is important is knowledge. Yeah. We have some resources, but the knowledge is very important.
As the saying goes, knowledge is power, and after the training, livestock farmers applied the knowledge given, and today they can attest of the transformation witnessed in their livestock milk production within the short period.
Mimi nimetolewa mbali kwa sababu kabla sijaanza hii masomo nilikuwa na ng'ombe moja, na sasa ilikuwa imetoa lita 3. Mimi nikaona hii ni maziwa mingi, lakini sasa mimi niko na ng'ombe 3 na sasa nauza lita 35 per day.
Huu mradi umenisaidia sana kwa sababu hizo training tumefanya imenipeleka mahali nikajua nilikuwa nikifanya tu kama ujinga, lakini sasa nimerefuka na naona ninajaribu sana. Kuhifadhi chakula ya ng'ombe pia umenisaidia, na hata hiki kilimo kingine za ng'ombe zenyewe upgrading na nini imenisaidia sana.
Due to increase in number of livestock farmers also adapted biogas as an alternative source of cooking energy. This maximized the utilization of the livestock waste in gas production and bioslurry as a subsidiary fertilizer. By so doing, deforestation was reduced, hence a healthier climate due to increased forest cover. In Uganda, the field visits were done in Masaka and in Mukono, areas which were chosen by Eaff to run the pilot projects. It's at Masaka Malongo Division where we meet Mr. Albert, a farmer who has wholly adopted the climate-smart agriculture practices. A tour on his farm is a clear indication of his seriousness in climate-smart agriculture adoption and brings to our attention the variety of crops available ranging from oranges to bananas, passion fruits, maize, beans and coffee, all healthy and growing on his farm, reflecting space utilization.
People say, I must have a vast land in order to grow such things. No, it is just a matter of using your brain and see what you have to do. Because there is one time when I planted here beans, I did not get a tin, because then the water was passing here. But now, I have planted 50 plants of these passion fruits. I have started harvesting. Now I have approved 70,000 shillings from now.
Mulching and terracing were very effectively applied to prevent moisture loss and soil erosion.
We are living in an area which is almost less a desert. It gets longer droughts. So we experience shortage of water. And by the time I just started the tank, now that problem has been lessened.
The fight against climate change is not an individual adventure, but a collective encounter. That's why Mr. Albert has trained more farmers on climate-smart agriculture. Among the trained trainees is Mr. Honadia. His land seems more drier, but with the knowledge imparted to him, he has been able to transform the landscape to a productive zone in a span of 2 years.
So here, this soil is purely sand. The water retention is very poor.
On a land that everyone testified nothing good could come out of it, Mr. Honadia today boasts of an on-farm woodlot, cultivates beans, cassavas, among other food crops, all thanks to Eaff through climate-smart agriculture approaches. The shift of farmers from the analog agriculture systems to the digital climate-smart agriculture has come with increase in production and good quality products. And with the knowledge on marketing and supply chain, getting customers for their products is not a challenge anymore.
The market, as per now, it is not yet a challenge because we have got some departments which come and buy. Yeah.
Value additions were witnessed in several areas, a good example being the extraction and fermentation of sweet wine from bananas in Uganda. Farmers were happy about climate-smart agriculture lessons and were willing to continue implementing them.
Wakulima wenzangu wamefurahi sana kwa sababu wote ni kama tulikuwa tumesoma kisomo moja ya kupanda mchanganyiko, lakini wakati tumesomeshwa imetusaidia kabisa. Sasa hatuna njaa, watoto wanasoma, tumekaa vizuri, wamama tunajisikia tuko kwa sababu hata tuko wasafi, tunajinunulia nguo na hizo pesa tunauza.
Nikafurahi kwa sababu ni kama kunionyesha vile naweza kutega samaki badala ya kunipatia samaki.
To them, it was the key to lock the door of poverty and open the door to riches as they maintain food security.
Nilikuwa anapanda hii machungwa chini mbele ya mlandi, baada ukuje nilikuwa nafuna gunia 2, gunia 3, ile ninachuna nyingi sana. Lakini siku hizi unajua, nilikuambia ya kwanza vile tuliingia na nyinyi nilichuna gunia 20. Na mimi nikasema asante na Mungu awabariki na muende mahali ingine tu. Na mkuje tu ndio tushikane na wale wengine wa kusoma.
For me, I want to see when I change, I see money. I change here and I see money. I change from here, I see money. Yeah?
Don't have always to depend on governments. Always when there is hunger, one has to be self-supportive, dependent.
Several challenges were raised and several gaps were also realized. The way forward was necessary for the future sustainability of smart agriculture technologies.
Our challenge as the East African Farmers Federation is to seek partnership with governments, with development partners on making sure that we don't actually lose the gains that were actually availed by this particular project.
Our challenge now is how do we maintain it? How do we carry it forward? Is it going to end today with the end of this project? We're saying no, it should not end here. We should now get down to the community and make sure that they are able to be part of the change. Because unless we change, change is going to change us.
It's because of these challenges, Eaff and its members organizations convened the end of project workshop between 9th and 11th June 2015 with an expectation of documenting about the completed program and drafting a way forward. During the workshop, various organizations presented their findings and successes of their CSA projects during the 2-year implementation. The draft plan would measure on how to maintain the already successful projects, fill the existing gaps, and implement more projects based on the lessons learned for the last 2 years.
I'm impressed with what they are doing. Really, to move a farmer to the next step is not an easy thing because I've been in extension for a long time. But I'm first of all happy about these people having knowledge on climate smart agriculture, knowing how to deal with climate challenges, and I'm sure that they can be able to do more than what is really happening here. I'm very impressed with the water harvesting efforts, where every farmer is really trying to see how he or she can harvest water, and already they are testifying of the gains they're having from it.
And I think if we can actually be able to address the existing challenges, one, finding ways of putting this project to scale. We know exactly it has actually come to an end, it's coming to an end, and we have actually done the final activities around conclusion. But out there, and in the farmer's mind and the farm level, the end is not there. In fact, it's just a beginning.